If you grew up with a father who was there, but not really there, this message is for you. If you have been carrying a weight you cannot name, keep listening. There is a specific kind of heavy silence that fills a home where a father is missing. I am not talking about the physical absence, though that is its own tragedy. I am talking about the emotional vacuum. The empty chair at the dinner table that screams louder than any argument. The man who was there, sitting right in front of you, but whose mind was 1,000 miles away, locked behind a newspaper, a screen, or a wall of unspoken anger. A bridge holding too much weight doesn't always explode. Sometimes, it just quietly folds. That is what happened to your childhood. It didn't explode. It just folded inward, collapsing under the weight of things you had to figure out on your own. Your childhood wasn't broken. It was interrupted. You are here because you have felt the draft coming from that open door for years. You have walked through life with a phantom limb, an ache in a part of your soul that you cannot quite touch, but you know should be there. You watched other kids at Little League games getting coached by their dads, getting a pat on the back even when they struck out, while you pretended not to care. You learned how to fix the car from YouTube videos, because no man ever showed you what was under the hood. You learned to treat a partner by guessing, or worse, by doing the exact opposite of what you saw at home, hoping that would be enough. But hope is not a strategy, and guessing is not a foundation. Let's be honest about what this wound really does to you. Bell subscribe for more content on psychology, stoicism, and self-mastery. We are going to walk back into that empty room. We are going to look at the void left behind. And then, brick by brick, we are going to build something new. We are going to discuss the art of fathering yourself. Listen to me closely. This is not about blaming him. Blame keeps you attached to him. Blame is just grief that has nowhere to go. This is about you. This is about the moment you realize that the cavalry is not coming. The rescue party is not on its way. You are the rescue party. You are the one you have been waiting for. Let's talk about what actually happens when the father archetype is missing or distorted. In psychology, we often talk about the concept of the father wound. But let's step away from the clinical terms and look at the reality of your nervous system. A father, in his truest form, represents the perimeter. He is the wall around the castle. He signals to the child that the chaos of the world cannot get in. When that wall is missing, or when the wall itself attacks you, you grow up without a skin. You walk into the world hypervigilant. You scan every room you enter. You watch people's hands. You listen to the tone of their voice before you hear their words. You do this because you are waiting for the other shoe to drop. You are waiting for the safety to disappear. What you call personality might just be survival mode. Think about this. Have you ever wondered why you work yourself to exhaustion? Why you can never just sit still and enjoy a Sunday afternoon? It is because stillness feels dangerous. Without that protective father figure to say, "It is okay to rest. I am watching the door," you feel like you have to be the sentry. You are the guard on duty, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are exhausted because you have been holding the roof up since you were 7 years old. A boy who learns to fix the leak in the roof because his dad is too drunk to do it doesn't feel proud. He feels lonely. A girl who learns to be invisible so she doesn't disturb her father's temper doesn't feel well-behaved. She feels worthless. These are the micro-stories written into your biology, and they manifest in your adult life as a deep, structural deficit. You might find yourself seeking validation from authority figures, desperate for a boss or a mentor to tell you good job. Or you might go the other way. You might reject all authority, terrified that anyone with power over you will inevitably hurt you. You become an island. You say, "I don't need anyone." But that isn't strength. That is scar tissue. There is a difference between being solitary and being lonely. Solitude is a choice. Loneliness is a wound. If you are feeling this in your chest right now, it is normal. Take a breath for a moment. Here's the part most people never admit. We must understand the three pillars of the Father Archetype: protection, provision, and guidance. If you did not receive them, you must now generate them for yourself. You must split your mind into two parts. There is the inner child, the part of you that is still waiting, still scared, still reacting. And then, there is the inner father, the part of you that is capable, rational, and strong. Your job, starting today, is to strengthen the inner father so he can take care of the inner child. This is where everything starts to change. Let's begin with protection. Most people think self-protection is about fighting. It isn't. It is about boundaries. Growing up with an absent or abusive father often means you have porous boundaries. The inner father needs to step in. When you are in a situation that feels wrong, you need to visualize that strong, calm presence stepping in front of you. You weren't lacking a father. You were lacking protection. Imagine a scene. You are a child, and a bully is approaching. A good father steps in front of you. He doesn't scream. He doesn't panic. He just stands there. He crosses his arms. He says, "No, not this one. Not today. You must do this for yourself." When your boss asks for unpaid overtime and you are already drowning, the inner father speaks. He says, "No, we need rest." When you are about to text that toxic ex-partner because you feel lonely, the inner father steps in. He takes the phone away gently. This is the concept of reparenting. It is the active, conscious act of treating yourself with the firmness and kindness you deserved back then. Today, start with one rule. Speak to yourself the way a good father would speak to a scared child. It feels strange at first. It feels fake. You might say to yourself, "This is silly. I'm talking to myself." Let me tell you something. You are always talking to yourself. But right now, the voice you are using is likely his voice. It is the voice of neglect. It is the voice that says, "You're not good enough. You're lazy. You're weak." We are not starting a conversation. We are changing the narrator. We are firing the critic and hiring the coach. Now, let's talk about provision. Provision is not just about money. It is about providing structure. A father provides the trellis so the vine can grow upward. Without structure, the vine crawls on the ground and rots. Many men with father wounds struggle with discipline. They either have none, living in chaos, or they are tyrants to themselves. To father yourself is to build a routine that is based on love, not punishment. You don't go to the gym to punish your body for being weak. You go to the gym because a good father wants his son to be strong, capable, and healthy. You don't save money because you are scared of poverty. You save money because a good father wants to ensure his future is secure. Pick one habit to protect, one habit to build, and one habit to let go. Shift the motivation. Ask yourself, if I were responsible for a young boy I loved deeply, would I let him eat this junk food every day? Be the architect of your own days. Create a structure that holds you when you are tired. That is what a father does. He creates a container where you can be safe enough to fail, but structured enough to succeed. And now, here's the truth no one told you. Guidance comes from wisdom. And if you cannot find that wisdom in your lineage, you must find it in the library of the human experience. You must seek out the great fathers of history. Read the Stoics. Read Marcus Aurelius, who wrote his meditations while leading an army. You can adopt ancestors. You can choose your lineage. You are not defined by the DNA that made you. You are defined by the wisdom you consume. But there is a trap here. The trap is looking for a guru. Do not look for another man to put on a pedestal. Look for peers. Look for mentors who treat you as an equal. Look for men who have scars like yours, but have learned to carry them with dignity. There is a moment in this journey that will be painful. It is the moment you realize that your father was just a man. He was likely a boy who was also hurt, who also had a father who failed him. You don't have to forgive him to save yourself. Forgiveness is a luxury. Survival is a necessity. But understanding him, seeing him not as a monster, but as a failed human, strips him of his power over you. Monsters are scary. Failed men are just sad. And you don't need to be afraid of a sad man. There is a concept in psychology called differentiation. It means knowing where you end and others begin. You are not his sequel. You are not his second chance. You are a completely new story. There will be days when the void feels massive. Days when you achieve something great, a promotion, a new relationship, and you turn around to show someone, but there is no one there. A Stoic doesn't ignore pain. He processes it without being enslaved by it. When that grief hits, do not run to distraction. Do not run to the bottle. Sit with it. Imagine that little version of you standing there, holding the trophy, looking at the empty chair. Walk over to him. In your mind's eye, kneel down. Look him in the face, and say the words you needed to hear. Say, I see you. I see how hard you worked for this. I am proud of you. You did good. You have to hear your own voice vibrating in your chest, delivering the validation you crave. It changes the chemistry of your brain. The world is full of boys looking for fathers in the faces of politicians, celebrities, and angry influencers. But you are choosing a different path. You are choosing to lead yourself. This requires a terrifying amount of responsibility. It means you can no longer blame your temper on your upbringing. You are the support. You are the wall. You are the lantern in the dark wood. Think of a lighthouse. A lighthouse doesn't run around the island looking for boats to save. It just stands there. It shines. Strength isn't loud. It's steady. When you father yourself, you become that lighthouse. You become stable. And suddenly, your relationships change. You stop attracting people who want to save you or people who want you to save them. You start attracting people who are also whole. This is the quiet power of the integrated man. He doesn't need to be loud to prove he is strong. Real masculinity is the ability to stay present. He is dangerous, yes, because he is capable, but he has his sword sheathed. There is a profound freedom on the other side of this grief. Once you accept that no one is coming to fix it, you are free to fix it any way you want. You can build a life that looks nothing like the one you came from. You can choose gentleness instead of rage. Imagine a long line of men stretching back into the darkness of history. Your father, his father, his father before him. A chain of pain, of silence, of unwept tears and raised fists. A domino effect of trauma passing from one hand to the next. And then there is you. You are standing at the end of the line. The domino hits you. But you do not fall forward. You do not pass it on. You plant your feet. You brace your shoulders. You catch the weight. You look down at your own hands, and you decide that the chain ends here. You decide that if you have children, or if you simply mentor others, what flows forward from you will be different. It will be clean. It will be light. You are the breaker of chains. You are the alchemist who turns the lead of your past into the gold of your character. It is unfair that you have to do this work. It is unfair that you have to build the foundation while you are already living in the house. You didn't just survive the silence. You learned to listen to yourself. You didn't just survive the absence. You learned to be present. The void he left behind is not a hole. It is a space, and you have the power to fill it with the man you choose to be. If no one ever told you this, you deserved better, and you still do.